The ancient Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki, beings who came down from the heavens and created humankind. Were they gods or visitors from the stars? Join Mystery Vault as we explore the ancient origins of the Anunnaki and the mystery of humanity as celestial creators. Long before Egypt, before Greece, even before Babylon, there was Sumer, the first known civilization on Earth. In the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a people emerged who would lay the foundations for the modern world. They built magnificent cities, they invented the wheel and the plow, and they gave us the first written language, cuneiform. But most intriguing of all, they left behind stories etched into clay tablets. Stories of powerful beings who came down from the heavens and ruled over them. They called them the Anunnaki, the sky gods. For centuries, we have dismissed these tales as simple myths, the fanciful imaginings of a primitive people. But what if they weren't myths at all? What if the Sumerians were recording a literal history of their encounters with ancient visitors from the stars? The line between divine mythology and historical fact begins to blur when we examine the evidence they left behind. Tonight, we open the Mystery Vault and look to the heavens, searching for the truth behind the gods who created us. The Sumerian civilization seemed to appear from nowhere around 4000 BCE in the sun-drenched plains of Mesopotamia, a region we now know as modern-day Iraq. Their sudden arrival and advanced knowledge have puzzled historians for decades. Almost overnight, they established sophisticated urban centers like Uruk, Eridu, and Ur, complete with monumental architecture and complex social structures, long before the first stones of the Egyptian pyramids were laid. Their achievements were staggering. They developed intricate legal codes, practiced advanced mathematics, and created a complex system of governance. Inscribed on thousands of clay tablets, they left a detailed record of their culture, their history, and their beliefs. And within these ancient texts, we find repeated detailed accounts of the Anunnaki, a name that literally translates to those who from heaven to earth came. According to these writings, the Anunnaki were not just gods to be worshipped, they were physical beings who descended from the sky. The tablets describe them as the teachers of humankind, bestowing upon the fledgling human race the essential arts of civilization. They gave humanity knowledge of agriculture, astronomy, architecture, and the very concept of kingship itself, appointing the first human rulers to govern on their behalf. So who exactly were the Anunnaki? The Sumerian texts are surprisingly specific. The word itself, Anunnaki, is derived from Anu, the god of the heavens, and it means those who came from the heavens, or princely offspring. The Sumerians depicted them as towering, radiant figures, possessing both human and divine qualities. They were not ethereal spirits, but physical beings who walked among mortals, ate, drank, and even engaged in political struggles and conflicts with one another. These were not distant, abstract deities. They were active participants in human affairs, described with a level of detail that feels less like myth and more like a historical account. According to their creation epic, the Enuma Elish, and other related texts, the Anunnaki hailed from a mysterious, distant world called Nibiru, often referred to as the planet of the gods. Their cosmology describes Nibiru as a rogue planet with a vast, elliptical orbit that brings it into our inner solar system only once every 3,600 years. The myths claim that it was on one of these crossings that the Anunnaki first came to Earth. The purpose of their mission? To obtain a precious resource, gold. The texts go on to describe how they created humanity, not as equals, but as a servant race. The Epic of Atrahasis details how the Anunnaki gods grew weary of their labor, and so they decided to fashion a primitive worker. They shaped us from the clay of the earth and mixed it with their own essence, or blood. Could this be an ancient metaphorical description of genetic engineering? A story of an advanced species creating a hybrid race by combining their DNA with that of a native primate? The parallels are as fascinating as they are unsettling. Perhaps the most compelling evidence for this extraordinary theory lies in the Sumerians' uncanny knowledge of the cosmos. Sumerian astronomers were masters of the night sky, mapping the heavens with a precision that seems impossible for their time. Their star charts and astronomical records, preserved on clay tablets, accurately depict constellations that we recognize today. They tracked the movements of the visible planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and developed a sophisticated calendar based on the cycles of the moon. But their knowledge went far beyond what could be observed with the naked eye. Incredibly, Sumerian cylinder seals and tablets depict a solar system with the sun at its center, orbited by all the planets we know today. This includes planets like Uranus and Neptune, which were not officially discovered by modern science until the 18th and 19th centuries, thousands of years later, with the aid of powerful telescopes. One particular cylinder seal, known as VA-243, clearly shows planets orbiting the sun, including a depiction of Pluto. How did they possess this knowledge? How could an ancient civilization, without the benefit of modern technology, have known about planets invisible from Earth? Were they simply brilliant observers and mathematicians who deduced their existence through complex calculations? Or were they taught this celestial map by beings who had traversed it? Were they simply reminded of a cosmic home they once knew? The question hangs in the air, a silent testament to a knowledge that should not have been possible. This is where ancient texts intersect with modern theories, creating a firestorm of controversy. In the 20th century, researchers like Zecharia Sitchin championed the idea that these Sumerian myths were not myths at all, but literal records of extraterrestrial contact. Sitchin, a scholar who could read ancient Sumerian cuneiform, translated the texts and proposed his ancient astronaut theory. He claimed the Anunnaki were flesh and blood aliens from the planet Nibiru, who visited Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago. Their mission, he argued, was to mine gold, which they needed to repair the deteriorating atmosphere of their home planet. To ease their workload, they genetically engineered Homo sapiens by upgrading Homo erectus, creating a species intelligent enough to follow orders but subservient enough to be controlled. Mainstream science and academia vehemently reject Sitchin's conclusions, labeling them as pseudo-history and pseudoscience. Critics argue that he took great liberties with his translations, imposing a modern technological narrative onto ancient spiritual metaphors. They contend that the gods were simply personifications of natural forces, and the stories were allegories meant to explain the world and the human condition. Yet despite the academic dismissal, the parallels between the ancient stories and modern concepts like space travel, genetic manipulation, and planetary science remain tantalizing and impossible to completely ignore. The imagery described in the texts resonates with a familiarity that is difficult to shake, leaving us to wonder if the truth lies somewhere between myth and reality. The legacy of these sky gods is not confined to ancient Sumer. When we look across the ancient world, we find the same archetype appearing in culture after culture, a recurring echo of a profound shared memory. In Egypt, the sun god Ra sailed across the sky in a celestial boat, bringing light and life to the world below. In ancient Greece, Zeus and the Olympian gods descended from their home on Mount Olympus to meddle in the affairs of mortals. The Mayans of Central America worshipped Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent god who came from the heavens to deliver advanced knowledge before promising to one day return. From the Dogon tribe of Africa, whose traditions speak of teachers from the Sirius star system, to the sky-dwelling creator gods of Native American lore, the same story is told. Could these disparate mythologies all be echoes of the same ancient truth? Is it possible that the Anunnaki were the progenitors of all gods, their story fragmenting and evolving as humanity spread across the globe? Perhaps Ra, Zeus, and Quetzalcoatl are all just different names for the same group of powerful beings who came from beyond our world, ruled for a time and then departed, leaving behind a promise to return. The consistency of this narrative across unconnected cultures is a mystery in itself, suggesting a common origin rooted in a real, transformative event deep in our collective past. In the end, whether the Anunnaki were divine gods, benevolent teachers, or interstellar travelers, the fundamental question remains the same. Why? Why did the very first human civilization insist that their creators, their teachers, and their kings came not from the earth, but from the stars? Was it a simple way to explain the unexplainable, to give a divine face to the forces of nature? Or were they trying to tell us the truth, documenting a history so profound, so world-altering, that it could only be described in the epic language of gods and monsters? Perhaps they were just trying to tell us about our own origins, passing down a history of our celestial parentage in the only language they had. Maybe the truth has been written in the stars all along, waiting for us to finally learn how to read it. Subscribe to Mystery Vault, where the past and the stars are closer than you think.